Officer Thinking. I'm Commander Kris. Before we get into this week's log entry, I'd just like to announce that moving forward, the two separate videos, one being the main log entry and the other being this week's Word in Klingon, instead of being two separate videos, I'm going to be combining them into a single video. So everything will be all-inclusive in one viewing. Hopefully this makes things easier for everyone watching the channel. For this log entry, I'll be discussing one of my academic interests, Egyptology, primarily through three pieces of Egyptian art. This is a painting on papyrus of the golden burial mask of the pharaoh Tutankhamun, who lived between 1342 and 1325 BC. He was also the last pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. An interesting detail on the burial mask is the fact that it is inscribed with two different names. The first name being his birth name, Tutankhaten, and the second being the name he gave himself when coming of age, Tutankhamun. The reason for this name change was because of Tutankhamun's father, the pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten had abandoned the polytheistic religion of ancient Egypt and installed a new monotheistic religion that worshipped the sun disk Aten. When Tutankhamun was born, he named him Tutankhaten in honor of this new sun disk god. However, after his reign, when Tutankhamun came into power, he reinstalled the polytheistic religion of ancient Egypt and changed his name to Tutankhamun after the chief ancient Egyptian god Amun. This painting on papyrus depicts Nefertari, queen and chief wife of Pharaoh Ramses II during the 19th dynasty. Besides being queen, she also held the title of the god's wife of Amun, an important religious role in the Temple of Karnak at Luxor. Besides being queen and an important figure in ancient Egyptian temple society, she was also an established diplomat. After Ramses II had achieved a great victory against the Hittites in the northeast, she sent several correspondents to the Hittite queen, attempting to convince her to get her husband to sit down and discuss peace between the Hittites and Egypt. Eventually, a peace treaty was signed between Ramses II and the king of the Hittites, making it one of the earliest peace treaties in recorded history. An important distinction in ancient Egyptian society is that both men and women were considered equal. Women had the right to choose who they took as a lover or who they chose to marry. They could even obtain a divorce on their own if they so desired. Women had the right to own their own businesses and even represent themselves in legal matters. This painting on papyrus depicts a funeral ceremony. In it, we can see the ancient Egyptian god of the underworld, Anubis, waiting to take the deceased on their journey through to the afterlife. In front of the mummified remains of the deceased, we see various priests and priestesses performing what is known as the opening of the mouth ceremony. This ceremony was considered important because they believed that the deceased had to be able to speak. In order to make the journey to the afterlife, they have to pass through several gates in the underworld. In order to get past the guardians, it was helpful that they be able to recite the magic spells from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. This ceremony also ensured that the deceased had all of the same abilities they had while they were alive. The ancient Egyptians believed that the afterlife was a more perfect, eternal version of this one. There, they were able to enjoy the pleasures of eating, drinking, and even sex. It's time for our Klingon segment, This Week's Word. This week's word in Klingon is the word Kwardu, which means family. In Klingon society, the next most important thing to one's honor is one's Kwardu. This has been This Week's Word in Klingon. Until next time, Qapla'! Well, I hope you've enjoyed this log entry. If so, please like and even subscribe for future log entries. Until next time, live long and prosper.